Welcome back, everyone. Ready to dive into a topic that can truly make or break a trader. We're talking about mastering emotions in the whirlwind world of trading.
That's right. Today, we're zeroing in on understanding those emotional triggers that can really hijack trading decisions. You know, those moments where you make a move based on feeling, not strategy.
Yeah, and then you're like, what was I thinking? So we'll be exploring some practical techniques to spot those emotional landmines before they blow up our carefully crafted plans.
It's all about recognizing the hidden dangers, right? Because that's the first step towards becoming a more disciplined and ultimately more successful trader.
Definitely. So let's get right to it. First things first, what exactly are we talking about when we say emotional triggers in trading?
Well, it's not about turning into some emotionless trading robot, you know? It's more about understanding and then managing those automatic psychological responses we have to market events.
Right, those almost knee-jerk reactions.
Exactly. Imagine like you're watching a stock you own just plummet and suddenly fear grips you.
Oh yeah, I've been there.
Or maybe you're riding a winning streak and all that excitement pushes you to make riskier and riskier bets.
That feeling of invincibility.
These are classic examples of emotional triggers in action as hardwired responses. And you know, in everyday life, they might even be helpful. But when it comes to trading, they can lead us down a path of impulsive actions that totally contradict our well-thought-out strategies.
So it's not the emotions themselves, it's about how we react to them.
Exactly. And the key here is to identify your unique triggers, the ones that really get to you. Because it's all about becoming a self-aware trader, recognizing those specific events or thoughts that light those emotional fires.
Like recognizing your personal warning signs.
Precisely. Because once you understand those triggers, you can actually start to develop strategies to manage them.
That makes sense. So what are some of the most common emotional culprits we need to watch out for?
Well, let's start with a big one. Fear of loss. This is primal, deep-seated stuff. It's that gut-wrenching dread of watching your hard-earned money just disappear.
Yeah, and that can lead you to make some pretty rash decisions.
Absolutely. It can make you jump out of trades way too early or avoid taking calculated risks altogether. It's a survival instinct, for sure, but in trading, it can be crippling.
It's like hitting the brakes when you should be stepping on the gas.
On the flip side, we've got excitement and greed. Picture this. You snag a few winning trades in a row, and suddenly you feel invincible, right?
Like you can do no wrong.
Exactly. Overconfidence creeps in, you start chasing every hot tip you hear, you risk more than you should, and you know what? You stray from that carefully crafted strategy that got you those wins in the first place.
And then, boom, reality hits.
And those risky bets backfire, frustration sets in, and then you know where this goes.
Straight to revenge trading territory.
It's a vicious cycle, trying to win back those losses immediately, and more often than not, it just leads to even bigger losses, digging yourself deeper and deeper into that emotional hole.
Like throwing good money after bad.
Exactly. And then, let's not forget about the fear of missing out, the dreaded FOMO.
That's a powerful one, especially in this fast-paced world.
Right, that constant worry you're missing the next big opportunity. It can push you into jumping into trades way too late or chasing trends at the absolute worst possible time.
So we've got fear, greed, and FOMO. Quite a trio. But why are these emotional triggers so detrimental to our trading success in the long run?
They basically hijack our rational decision-making process. It's like our brain short circuits and we just react impulsively, driven by fear, greed, or frustration, instead of logic and strategy.
It's like our emotions take the wheel and logic is stuck in the back seat.
Exactly. Emotions are all about the here and now immediate gratification or avoiding short-term pain. But successful trading requires that long-term strategic thinking.
Thinking ahead, planning for the future, not just reacting to the moment.
Precisely. Imagine you exit a trade out of pure fear, and then what happens? The price rebounds shortly after.
Yeah.
That's a perfect example of the clash between short-term emotional reactions and the long-term strategic mindset that's essential for consistent trading success. So the question is, how do we become more aware of these emotional traps before they sabotage our trades?
Yeah, how do we become better emotional detectives?
It all starts with self-monitoring and cultivating self-awareness. You have to really pay attention to your thoughts and feelings before, during, and after your trades. Become an observer of your own mind.
That's insightful. We need to really examine the evidence of our own reactions and learn to anticipate those emotional pitfalls before they trip us up.
Absolutely. And a trading journal can be a seriously powerful tool in our arsenal for doing just that.
Not just tracking the numbers, but also our emotional state.
Right. It's more than just recording your trades. Document your emotional state at each step, before, during, and after. Over time, you'll uncover those patterns in your emotional responses, helping you predict those potential pitfalls.
So we're adding an emotional commentary track to our trading journal. That's a really cool idea.
Yep.
What about setting personal emotional alerts?
Now that's a clever strategy. Identify those specific phrases or thoughts that signal an emotional trigger is about to take over. For example, if you catch yourself thinking, I can't miss this opportunity, it's a huge red flag to pause and reassess before you make a potentially impulsive decision.
It's like having a little alarm bell go off in your head saying, danger, emotions at play.
Precisely.
So we've uncovered some of those common emotional landmines and talked about how to spot them. But how do we actually navigate them? Stay tuned for part 2, where we'll dive into practical strategies for managing those emotions and building that all-important emotional resilience.
It's going to be good. Don't miss it. Okay, so we've talked about those emotional landmines and how to spot them before they blow up our trading plans. But now, what about actually navigating them? You know, those moments when you're in a trade, the market takes a dip and fear starts creeping in. What's the first move?
I guess it's all about pausing, right? Taking a moment to reflect before reacting.
Exactly. Hit that pause button. Ask yourself, is this market move really significant, or am I just letting fear get the best of me?
Right, because sometimes it's just a little blip, not a full-blown crisis.
Exactly. And that's where that trading journal we talked about comes in.
So it's not just for recording trades, it's like a tool for emotional analysis.
Exactly. It becomes your personalized playbook. You can look back and see, okay, have I encountered this kind of situation before? How did I react? Did it work?
It's like having a record of your emotional responses, so you can learn from past mistakes.
Right. But, you know, even with the best preparation, we all make emotional trades sometimes. We're human, after all. So the question is, what do you do when that happens? How do you recover?
Well, I'm guessing step 1 is not to beat yourself up about it.
You got it. Avoid that negative self-talk. It's not helpful. Resilient traders, they view every setback, every loss, as a learning opportunity. It's not a personal failure.
It's about turning that oops moment into an aha moment. But how do you practically do that? How do you transform a loss into a lesson?
Start by asking yourself some tough questions, like, what sparked that emotional decision? Did I stray from my plan? Was my risk management on point? Were there any outside factors messing with my state of mind?
So it's like a post-trade debriefing session, dissecting everything to figure out what went wrong and how to avoid making the same mistake again.
You got it. And here's a crucial reminder. Trading is a game of probabilities. Nobody wins every single trade.
Even the best traders have losing streaks.
Oh, absolutely. Even the best baseball hitters strike out sometimes.
So it's about detaching yourself from the emotional roller coaster of each individual trade and focusing on the bigger picture.
That's the key. Resilient traders, they stay focused on their long-term goals, even when the market is throwing all sorts of curveballs their way. Short-term fluctuations, they don't shake their confidence or their commitment to their plan.
So it's about developing mental toughness, that ability to bounce back from setbacks and keep moving forward.
Absolutely. Each challenge, each setback is an opportunity to learn, grow, and fine-tune your approach. Resilient traders, they use every experience, positive or negative, to their advantage.
They turn those oops moments into aha moments and setbacks into stepping stones. So how do we actually cultivate this resilient trader mindset? What are some practical tips?
One really powerful technique is practicing emotional detachment. Train yourself to view each individual trade as just one data point in a much larger data set.
So instead of getting caught up in the emotions of a single win or loss, you're taking a step back and seeing it as part of a bigger experiment.
Precisely. Avoid attaching too much personal value to those individual wins or losses. Instead, focus on executing your strategy, gathering data, and making adjustments along the way.
It's like you're a scientist conducting an experiment, and each trade is just another piece of data to analyze. I like that analogy. And even when things don't go our way, we can choose how we respond to those setbacks, right? Instead of getting caught up in negativity, we can learn from them and come back stronger.
Absolutely. Develop that mental discipline to stay calm, analyze the situation objectively, and extract those valuable lessons. A simple but effective technique is to step away from the charts for a bit after a setback and do something relaxing.
Hit the reset button on those emotions.
Exactly. Go for a walk, listen to music, meditate, whatever helps you shift your focus and regain that sense of calm. Breaks, they're crucial, not just for your physical well-being, but for your mental and emotional resilience as a trader.
While we're talking about mindset, I know a lot of traders struggle with that inner critic, especially after a loss. How do we combat that negative self-talk and cultivate a more positive outlook?
One of the most powerful tools is gratitude. Start each trading day by reflecting on things you're grateful for, both in your trading journey and in your life in general.
So shift our focus from what's going wrong to what's going right.
Exactly. Gratitude is like the antidote to negativity. It helps us appreciate our progress even amidst those inevitable setbacks. And that helps build a more optimistic and resilient mindset for navigating those challenges that are just part of the trading game. And don't forget about visualization. Spend a few minutes each day envisioning yourself as a successful trader, making smart decisions, and achieving those goals.
Creating a mental movie of those desired outcomes, training our minds to believe in our abilities and attract those successes.
Visualization, it's not just about picturing the end goal, though. It's also about visualizing the process, the steps you need to take to get there, and how you'll handle those bumps along the way. It's like mentally rehearsing for those challenges so you can face them with confidence when they arise.
We're preparing our minds for both the wins and the losses. And speaking of support, don't underestimate the power of surrounding yourself with the right people.
Trading can be a pretty solitary endeavor. Having a support network can make a world of difference in helping you stay positive, motivated, and accountable. Whether it's a trading community, a mentor, or a group of like-minded traders, find those people who can offer encouragement, guidance, and a fresh perspective.
It's like building a team of cheerleaders to help you stay on track and navigate that emotional roller coaster we call trading. Is there a simple exercise our listeners can start with today to build that resilient trader mindset?
At the end of each trading day, take a few minutes to reflect on your performance, both technically and emotionally, not just focusing on whether you made money or not.
Going back to that trading journal and adding a new layer of analysis.
Exactly. Ask yourself, did I stick to my trading plan? Did I manage my risk effectively? Were there any emotional decisions that snuck in there? By really analyzing the process, you gain valuable insights into your strengths and weaknesses, both in terms of your technical skills and your emotional game.
And once you recognize those patterns, you can start making adjustments to your approach and continue to strengthen that resilient trader mindset.
Absolutely. And here's a little twist. Instead of dwelling on what you could have done differently, focus on what you did well.
Celebrate those small wins, even amid setbacks. Acknowledge the progress you're making.
Exactly. Take a moment to recognize those times when you exhibited discipline, resilience, and sound decision-making. Those are huge victories.
Because those are the moments that build confidence and reinforce positive habits.
Exactly. Remember, building resilience as a trader, it's a journey, not a destination. It takes time, consistent effort, and a commitment to continuous learning. But with practice, you can develop that mental fortitude to weather any storm the market throws your way.
All right, so we've talked about the emotional traps, we've talked about reframing those setbacks, but how do we actually build a trading routine, day to day that helps us stay resilient?
It's like building an emotional fortress brick by brick. And that foundation, that's a solid pre-trade checklist.
So before we even think about hitting that buy or sell button, we're hitting pause, asking ourselves some key questions. What kind of questions are we talking about here?
Well, it's personal, right? But some classics. Does this trade align with my overall strategy? Have I defined clear entry and exit points based on data, not just my gut feeling? And crucially, am I calm? Am I focused right now? Or is there some emotional undercurrent pushing me into this decision?
I love that. Running through that checklist would probably filter out a lot of those impulsive trades before they even happen. Okay, so checklist is our foundation. What's the next layer of bricks in this emotional fortress?
Boundaries. Daily and weekly trading limits. They're crucial for preventing those emotional spirals from taking over.
We touched on this a bit earlier, but let's get specific. What kind of limits are we talking about here?
It really depends on your trading style, your risk tolerance, but some common ones. A maximum daily loss limit. When you hit it, you're done for the day. No exceptions. Or a limit on the number of trades you'll take per day or week. This helps prevent overtrading, especially when that FOMO monster rears its head. And, don't forget about setting a profit target.
So you're not constantly chasing bigger and bigger wins.
Exactly, because that often leads to overtrading and giving those profits right back to the market.
Greed, right. It can be just as dangerous as fear.
Absolutely. Limits, they create structure. It's like a container for your emotions, so they're working for you, not against you.
I like that. Checklist, boundaries. What else can we build into this emotional stronghold?
Regular self-assessment. At the end of each trading day, each trading week, become your own coach. Review your performance, not just financially, but emotionally.
So back to that trusty trading journal, adding new layer of analysis.
Exactly. Ask yourself, did I stick to my trading plan? Were there moments where I felt tempted to break my rules? And what was the trigger? What could I have done differently to manage those emotions better?
It's like that post-game analysis, right? Looking for those key takeaways to improve for next time.
You got it. And you know what? Celebrate those wins too. Not just the profitable trades, but the moments where you exhibited discipline, followed your plan, managed your emotions like a pro. Those are huge victories.
It's about recognizing that sometimes the biggest wins aren't reflected in our account balance, but in our mindset. Celebrating those emotional wins reinforces positive habits and builds confidence, right?
Absolutely. Okay, so checklist, boundaries, self-assessment. This routine is starting to feel pretty solid. What else can we add to really make it unbreakable?
I think it's time to talk about breaks, downtime.
So important. And this isn't just about physical rest, it's about emotional recovery.
Stepping away from the charts, giving our minds a chance to reset and recharge.
Exactly. Even short breaks throughout the day can make a huge difference. Go for a walk, listen to music, meditate, do something completely unrelated to trading. It helps you detach from that emotional intensity.
Okay, I'm officially adding scheduled emotional recovery to my trading plan.
I love it. And remember, building this resilient routine, it takes time. It's about consistency, making those small changes day after day, trade after trade.
It's about creating that foundation for long-term success in trading, both financially and emotionally.
Exactly. Transforming from a reactive trader, always at the mercy of those emotions, to a proactive trader, in control of your decisions, in control of your destiny.
This has been such an incredible journey into the world of emotional mastery in trading. I think the biggest takeaway is that building that resilient trader mindset, it's not a destination, it's an ongoing process. It's about self-awareness, learning, continuous improvement.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And remember, you're not alone on this path. There are countless resources, communities, mentors out there ready to support you every step of the way.
So embrace the challenge, keep practicing those techniques, and never stop learning. And remember, the most successful traders, they're not the ones who never experience emotions. They're the ones who have mastered the art of managing them.
Until next time, happy trading, and may your journey be filled with both profits and emotional resilience.